good Friday morning. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. We're good? All right. Yeah, I thought we had a problem there on the microphones. Maybe my mic is just not turned on proper. How about that? All right, we'll figure it out after we let my guests talk. We'll figure out what's up with my mic. But my name is Colin Worthington, and today, thank goodness, is the last day for early voting for the February the 13th special election to replace Republican Mike Dugan in Senate District 30.
It's on the audition, but it's not coming over the air.
Is that the case, Joel? Or we're good? No, Joel says we're good, so we'll just stick with Joel at the point. We'll figure out the rest of it after we go to a break. That district covers all of Haralson County and parts of Carroll, Douglas, and Paulding counties, and about 700 people have so far cast early ballots for this race in Carroll County alone. Perhaps my guest knows about Haralson County early voting in Paulding County. I didn't check those out. Carroll's just a lot easier for me to do. Now, running in this Senate race are former State Rep Tim Bearden of Carrollton, consultant Robert Bob Smith, Ashley Keskis Godwin of Carrollton, and real estate agent Renae Bell of Tallapoosa, who is our guest this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for traveling all the way over to Carrollton to discuss your campaign.
Yeah, such a commute.
Yes, but thank you. It's good to meet you. Good to have you on the program this morning as we talk about this. And are you happy, excited that this is the final day for early voting and Election Day is on Tuesday? Or do you see the next 4 days just being, cramming in a bunch of work to do this?
Still cramming in, still working hard.
Yeah. Well, who are you, Renae Bell, and what are you about, and why are you seeking this seat?
Well, I am Renae Bell. I am a conservative Republican. I'm not a politician. That's very obvious. I'm a small business owner. I believe in people who in small business having a voice. I opened a business in 2020 during the pandemic when everybody was crazy, and I felt I was able to do that. I feel like Donald Trump his business side of things made me think, okay, I can do this, and he put outsider business folks in office, and I feel like I'm an outsider business person with a good voice. So
have you always been interested in politics? So you're not a politician, but did you always think that maybe if something opens up, and would you have run for this seat this time if Dugan hadn't sought another office?
I feel like the opportunity was a level playing field for this chance because all of us had to work very hard in a very quick manner to get out there. And at the end of the day, it puts us all on the level field when we're trying to get people to the polls to vote.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should do that for every seat in the state. Just wipe them out and everybody can start all over again. Because everybody has said, you're an incumbent. There's a good chance you're going to stay the incumbent unless you do something really, really miserable. All right, again, Renae Bell, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. I think I'm going to go ahead and take this first break so I can figure out if we are actually going on air. Maybe somebody who's listening to us on the radio, you could text me and tell me that we are, but I'm going to run in there and see if everything's good. We will take our first break right now. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
The World Language Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined, curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in biliteracy fields of study. The successful completion of this journey provides colleges with a method to recognize a rigorous foreign language immersion experience for all students at Oak Mountain Academy. I'm Patrick Duran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
All right, 8:34. Don't want to waste too much time here during the bumpers as we introduce our guest, Renae Bell. She's one of 4 candidates running for that District 30 State Senate seat. Early voting ends today, and Election Day is the 13th. There's a good chance that we will have a runoff election for this, and whoever wins that will have like 2.5 days in this actual 2024 session. A lot of work.
Crazy, yeah. Just
to be under the Golden Dome just for a little bit. We did a nice little brief intro about you in that first segment, but what are the issues? Talk about small business, helping small business. What are some of the issues? I've got plenty of things I can ask you about, but what are some of the big issues that you see going on in Georgia this session in particular? If you run again in May. Perhaps you have the opportunity to work for 2 more years. But what are the issues that you hope to be part of?
Well, I'm seeing small business in our area. I feel like that definitely needs to be in the focus. How many mom and pop places have you seen that survived COVID, and they got through all of that, and then all of a sudden they're having to shut down? Sometimes I feel like big government kind of like to micromanage our small businesses, and I feel like we need to have more of a voice and more control with things.
Well, this might be like a dirty question for you, but we think about micromanaging the small businesses. But should government put any kind of restrictions on the bigger businesses? Because you think about the small businesses are being wiped out, it's because of the big box stores.
Yes.
And the ones, I mean, is that just inevitable? I mean,
that's a good question. I feel like big business, there definitely needs to be. I don't like it when you have our small towns and we have all these things, and then you have these big box stores that come in. I see it even in real estate. We have our local areas. I'm a small little fish in a big old pond in real estate, and then we have to fight with these bigger companies who come in that don't know our area. They don't know the community. They don't know where to go shop at, where to eat at, what to order at those stores. And I feel like your voice gets kind of lost with the big things, and I feel like I need to make sure that we keep our communities safe with who's working in our communities.
And I think about those big stores. I mean, they kind of just make us all the same. I mean, we're going to be the same as the people in Texas with our products and people in Michigan, because we're all getting the same stuff at Walmart. No offense, Walmart, you guys do great here. You do a lot of great donations and programs, but I mean, it does just make us all the same. We don't have that uniqueness.
Exactly.
of this.
Well, it shows our personality, and there's different characteristics in each town. I love the small shop. I'm right on Head Avenue in Tallapoosa, and if I need something, I can directly walk across the street and buy something, and I like that feeling. And we're seeing more and more bigger cities. People are moving out of the bigger cities because they're kind of tired of all the big, what you think would be stuff that you really want to have, the big restaurants, the big box shops. They're kind of tired of that. They want to go back to smaller living way of life and know the people they're shopping with and know that their dollar's helping them.
Have you followed former Senator Dugan's work as the senator for District 30? What were things that you saw he was part of that you were proud of or pleased with, and maybe something that he was part of that you had questions about?
He always seemed to be very personable. I like that if you called him, he actually called me back a couple of times, and I've met him at the Capitol, and he was very personable, and I feel like he definitely had his mindset on how we as a community, if it lines up for Georgia, sometimes it doesn't line up for our area. And I felt like that was the best thing I saw that he did, that he would definitely make sure, yes, if it's good for Georgia, is it good for my area? And I do like how he did that.
Time right now is 8:38. My guest this morning is Renae Bell. She's one of 4 candidates running for the vacant District 30 seat. Today is the last day for early voting. Where's early voting in Haralson County?
The courthouse.
Okay, how about Paulding County?
I'd have to check.
And then in Douglas County, it's probably the courthouse too, even though I think the courthouse is actually out of the district.
Yeah.
In Douglas
somebody
County,
else has said that too.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. But of course, early voting here in Carroll County is just down the road from us, Noonan Road, the former WGTC building. You go in the back there to do your early voting. Like I said, I think about 800 people in Carroll County have so far cast early ballots. Do you think the information's been out there long enough? Are people informed that we actually have a race going on right now? Because as you said, you had, announced. I think Dugan on Wednesday announced that he's going to run for Senate and going to resign, and then on Friday evening, after hours, after everybody's already gone out and partying and having their cocktails and stuff, Kemp announced that we're going to have that qualifying period, 3-day qualifying period. Not to mention, the District 30 has changed dramatically.
Yes.
From just last year. But are you finding, talking to people, that they're like...
Yeah, the calls I have, even some of my friends, my close people, they're like, number one, they didn't know who their representative was. And number two, they didn't know he had left. And then number three, they didn't know there was a special election coming up.
And how about in talking to people, do you find, and this disappoints me, that you find that they... maybe don't even know what the senator does. Like the senator, they talk about national issues. When you're talking to them, seeking what they're concerned about, I mean, do we still see a lot of people talking about national issues or potholes because they don't realize
a little bit
what
of both.
That role,
it's almost like even my husband sometimes gets asked about potholes, and he's not on the roads. He is education, and it's like illegal illegals coming in here, and they're wanting us. They're like, you need to control that. I think there's certain things we could put at the state level for that. So yes, it's kind of an education process every time you make a call.
Was there anything new that you thought of? I mean, when you're asking people, what their concerns are, what their issues that they brought forth, you said, wow, I didn't think about that. Or, maybe it's just a topic that you normally wouldn't focus on. Was there anything that was brought to your attention that that you think that you might want to look more into?
A lot of people that I talked to were concerned about how protected their vote was. There's a lot of, there's studies out there, and there was a thing the other day where somebody showed how they could hack into the voter machine. I feel like most people in our area seems to be a little concerned, is the voting machine safe? I heard that over and over and over again. Why go vote? Why go vote if they can change your vote and things like that?
Well, how do you feel about that? I mean, are you confident?
I feel like if there's that big of a concern, then we definitely need to make sure that there are measures in place that we could assure that, yes, your vote is safe, yes.
There was talk about putting watermarks
Yeah.
on them. I guess I didn't read the story fully to understand how that would actually help. But I mean, that's one of the discussions right now in the Senate.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing was everybody was concerned when the person showed that they could take the big pen and the smart card and hack into a system and change, monitor, print unlimited ballots. That was kind of a concern for them. And they were like, okay, even when we have a paper ballot right now, when it prints off the little thing at the end, it has a code on it where we don't know what it says. So they were concerned about that.
Renae Bell, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, one of 4 candidates running for the vacant District 30 seat on Georgia Senate. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post those on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, and I shall take a peek at those at some point and share those with our guest. Well, let's start with this one. Sports betting in Georgia, good, bad? That's been a discussion. It comes back every session. What are your opinions on that? And
Well, it's legalizing gambling. I mean, we sort of already have a system in place with the lottery, and the lottery's done a lot of great things. Both my boys were recipients of the Hope Scholarship. That I can get behind. The casinos coming in here, building everywhere, all that type of stuff. There's stuff that comes along with that I'm not sure I'm a fan of. So I would definitely have to see each bill as it crosses to kind of give it its own merits on that one.
Was not being a fan of it. Is it concerns about crime? Is it a religious stand?
No, I feel like, you go to some areas that have casinos. If you build casino after casino, we're a small rural area. I feel like those land use could be better used for other things than that. And it does concern me for accountability. And as a conservative Republican, I believe personal accountability is strong. Some people, it would be hard for them to have that.
Talked about voting a little bit. The Senate right now is looking at a bill that would shorten early voting in time for the 2024 general election from 3 weeks to 2 weeks. There's a senator out of Milledgeville that says he remembers when elections seemed to work just fine with no early voting. He says early voting wastes time and tax dollars, especially in smaller counties. He wants to change the law to reduce early voting by about 1/3 from 21 days to 14 days. How do you feel about that?
I feel like early voting is necessary because I feel like sometimes people, especially on a Saturday when you're opening up on a Saturday, some people work. Like last night we had a on the table event in town, and we had so many people that, especially self-employed folks, they couldn't get off work. I had one person, they don't get off work till 6, couldn't get there to 6:30. If it was early voting being available for multiple times and a couple of weeks ahead of time, especially on the Saturdays, I think it would help.
I had another question about voting, but now it's gone. It escaped me. How about runoff elections? Should Georgia, because there's been discussion about getting rid of runoff elections, and there's, I've heard the argument from both sides. I guess asking you right now, because there's a good chance this will face a runoff election, but if it was just you and 2 other people running for here, would you be in favor of maintaining runoff elections in Georgia, or should we get rid of that?
No, I feel like runoffs should make sure everything's kind of transparent and everybody knows that they definitely have the chance to cast their vote.
Mm-hmm. And the argument there is that sometimes it's just a lot of money. You're spending a lot of money for a race for 2 more people. Again, this race you're going to have like 4 or 5 days under the Gold Dome as senator, whoever wins this. But how about ranked elections? How do you feel about that? And that's an argument that would be an alternative if we did get rid of the runoff voting. It's where you go in there and vote, and if there's 5 people, you'd say, all right, Renee's number 1, this guy's number 2, this guy's number 3, and then you kind of just average them all together.
I'm not sure I have a thought on that. That's the first time that's come across my brain process. So I would have to definitely look into that to give you an answer on that one.
Are there any bills right now relating to elections or anything else that you're watching in the House? I mean, one that you're almost hopeful that you'll get a chance to vote on if you were.
Well, the ones I'm looking at that were discussed yesterday, I was at the Capitol yesterday. It was Realtor Day at the Capitol. And, of course, the three House bills that came across our plate was one about squatters. And then there was one about, what was the other one? There was one about, like, municipal fees, because, like, right now in Carroll County, I was talking to one of my realtor friends. She was talking about how before you could really build in certain counties, the person who built in the home basically was spending $25,000 before they even pushed over the first tree. And with fees. So there
What's an example of those fees?
Water tap fees, sewer tap fees,
sure.
Things like that. And
Blue Sky fee.
Yeah, all those fees. Yeah.
Again, Renae Bell, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. Before we go to the break, I mean, this question, you could probably answer it in 5 minutes, or we can take the next 15 minutes. As I gotta get it out of you, Renae. Here, voucher bills. There's a discussion of vouchers that would give students the opportunity to use their tax money to go to a different school district, a different school than where they reside. Now, you are married to the Haralson County School Superintendent, and I've heard on many a Friday where he's obviously not in favor of it. And I don't think any of the superintendents locally have expressed being in favor of that. If you're a senator, you could be presented with that.
True.
What would be what would be your feelings on giving those students the opportunity to go to a different school district than the one they have?
Well, I am married to a school superintendent, so this is a very personal issue for me. I know how hard our local public schools work, and they're how performing well. They work very hard to perform. But at the end of the day, I do feel like if you're in an area where you are an underperforming school area, I do believe all kids should have access to a good education.
So how would we divvy that up in the state? I mean, would you have to come out with new rankings as far as what a school is performing equally?
Well, I would have to look at what they call underperforming.
Mm-hmm.
What is that level? That is what I definitely want to see. I feel like if you're in an underperforming area, you definitely should have the right to choose what school you go to. But I do believe public education, where we're at right now, I know in my county, we're overperforming. So I don't see an issue in the more rural areas, but when you get out to more, I guess, metropolitan areas or things like that where there's more schools, there is a reason that might be in play for
There's
sure.
more options, yeah. I mean, if you're like right in the middle of 4 or 5 districts that you could choose from. I guess, before we do go to the break, I know Dugan was working, former District 30 State Senator Dugan was working on recreating the QBE formula, working on that, changing that to decide how the state money's shifted between each district. And I don't know if that's just kind of left out in the open or he's handed that off to somebody else. Have you kept up with that, with what he was doing?
No, I know what QBE is basically who I'm married to, but I don't know enough about that, and I'm not a politician, so I would definitely have to say I'm not going to make up an answer. Mm-hmm. I will have to find out about it.
And just bringing it up, maybe it reminded me that Dugan was working on, so that maybe I'll call him today to find out where that stands. It'd be kind of one that works. All right, time right now is 8:48. We're going to take our final break. We'll come back and conclude our conversation with Renae Bell, one of 4 candidates running for the District 30 State Senate seat here in Georgia. It's half of Carroll County, all of Haralson County, and that didn't change, right, from last year. It was always all of Haralson County.
Yes.
A little sliver of Douglas County and a bit of nook of Paulding County as well. So early voting today is the last day before Election Day Tuesday, and then pretty good chance we'd have a runoff election. Is that like 2 or 3 weeks later? They probably make it the next day, considering this race.
12th? Is that what it is?
Okay, so like a whole month later.
Yeah, I think so.
It is. Okay. All right. Community Voice is brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
The Entrepreneur Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in business and leadership. Critical areas include identifying entrepreneurial characteristics, selecting a value position, and business model development. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
850, welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. This morning we are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. My name is Colin Worthington. My guest this morning is Renae Bell. She's one of 4 candidates running for that vacant District 30 state Senate seat. Again, covers half of Carroll County, all of Haralson County, a little bit of Paulding County, and Douglas County. Today is the last day for early voting before Election Day on Tuesday. And I guess heads up, I know typically people do tune in for us or follow our Facebook page on Tuesday to for those kind of elections. But with 4 counties, it's going to be harder to get those numbers, I think, as quickly as we'd like. It's like if we just go through Haralson County, you may see Renae Bell has won Haralson County, and Carroll County somebody else might have won, and Paulding County. So we unfortunately get to put all those together, so it may take a little longer to get all those numbers to complete that race on Tuesday. Although you may know before us, if you have people up at the polling places and stuff like that. So anyway, Election Day is Tuesday. Wrapping up our program here, I'll try and ask a couple more questions and maybe just give you an opportunity to give me the stump speech if you come into the house and you say, "Hey, I'm Renae. This is why you should vote for me." But Medicaid in Georgia has been a topic. I think Georgia's one of 10 states that's not fully funded as far as Medicaid. There has been discussion of Republican leadership maybe copying off of Arkansas a little bit because apparently that one's pretty successful. What are your feelings on expanding Medicaid in Georgia?
Well, I'm a conservative Republican, so I don't always think relying on big government is always the answer. I feel like the questions we need to be asking is in Northwest Georgia, where we live, how is our access to health care, and how can we better help with the cost of health care? I think that needs to be the question more than expanding Medicaid at this time. I feel like we need to focus on our local stuff more than just expanding big government.
Mm-hmm. When you have decisions, you have questions and issues that may come before you. I mean, there's a couple things you weren't really focused on in today's conversation, but when it comes down to, well, you're gonna have to vote on something and you may not be as confident in your knowledge of an issue, who will you turn to? How would you decide? Who would you reach out to, whether it's a person or a profession? Who would you just reach out to maybe seek some guidance or help you?
In our local area, I feel like I have a good relationship with our mayor in Tallapoosa. I have a great relationship with the mayor in Bremen. I have some GOP people in Paulding County and the Douglas County area and Haralson County. So those people, I can get some kind of bounce ideas off of them. And then if I was a freshman, I'd be considered a freshman up there. And I feel like I would have definitely some people to go to there. I've already spoke to the 2 other females who are in the Senate up there. They definitely want some more help female-wise up there. So I definitely, as a realtor, my phone is full of people that you turn to when you have a question, and I definitely would be able to pull some of those out of my hat and be able to have my own network, more just on the realtor side, but more on the Senate side. So our mad skills as realtors are we're problem solvers, and we network. People call us in the area not when they need real estate advice, but when they want to know something going on in the community, because we have to totally saturate ourselves in the community. For example, I am a current chairwoman for Greater Haralson Chamber of Commerce. I'm a commissioner for the Tallapoosa Housing Authority. I'm a local board director for West Metro Board of Realtors, and I'm a current past president for the Lions Club. So I believe in all those areas I'll be able to gain some knowledge of what's important to us and what we feel would be the best for our area. Very
good. Time right now is 8:52. Wrapping up our conversation with Renae Bell, one of 4 candidates running for that vacant District 30 state Senate seat. Are you thick-skinned? I mean, if you look at even Dugan, 8 years or maybe a decade he's been in office. I mean, there are some yahoos that are irrational and post stuff on his Facebook page all the time. I mean, and you're going to get that.
I get it.
I mean, how do you can you handle that? Do you respond to those kind of things? I mean, there's a rational and there's some rational comments, and there's people who just have nothing to do with their lives, so they just want to post stuff on Facebook. And
well, and people have already posted stuff on there, and look who I'm married to. I mean, I've had to have thick skin my entire. Long as my husband's been a superintendent, I've had to have thick skin. My kids have had to have thick skin. They've always had to work harder because.
I think about that too with the kids.
Yeah, well, both my boys played sports, and they were always told, "Oh, well, you're only playing that position because of who your daddy is," or so they've always had to have. We are as a family, we've always had thick skin. Now, does it hurt? Oh yeah, it hurts sometimes. You talk about my husband and my kids, it gets my tail riled up, but. I do have thick skin, and there's certain things I will not respond to. Some people just mouth it off, let them mouth off. I've been mouthed off too because I change my hair quite often. I've been mouthed off because sometimes I wear glasses and sometimes I don't. I've been mouthed off because I'm a female. So some things, yes, I'm going to respond to because you can kind of be a good judge of if it's something they're really concerned about, then yes, I will respond to it. But things like that, I just let it roll off.
How about as far as just overall communications? You plan to hold town hall meetings? Would you send out monthly emails? I mean, the Senate office does encourage the senators to put together little things, to send out weekly.
I'm used to doing things like that anyway. We post videos about informational stuff with Journey Realty Group. We do that. We also have a thing we used to do called What's Brewing, where we would bring people together that normally wouldn't have conversations to have conversations. Yes, we drink coffee there. We do.
If they're brewing.
We do, and I make sure the coffee's there and it's hot.
That is half the battle.
And it's not decaf.
There you go. We got about 3 minutes, Renae. I want to give you the opportunity to, assuming you're going door to door, you're knocking on people's door and
lots of phone calls. Things
like that. What are you saying to them? What's your process? How are you approaching them? What are you making sure that they know about you when they go?
I'm making sure, number one, they know I'm conservative Republican. I'm definitely pro-life. I'm definitely pro-God. I'm definitely pro-Second Amendment. I believe in protecting I believe in having a voice. I just want people to know that I'm not a politician. I am definitely a small business owner, and I definitely want to be able to have a voice for the people. I feel like I identify more with people here in our community because they see me all the time working. They see the roles that I play, and they see how hard we've been trying. Gosh, I have had a voice for getting good internet in our area forever. So I've definitely got that good side of things, and I think they know that if I tell you something, I'm telling it because I believe in it. And if you believe in it and I feel your side of things, then they know I'm going to fight for it.
Pro-life, you did mention that. Is there anything that Georgia needs to do as far as their stance on pro-life, as far as the laws out there right now?
Well, Governor Kemp has the heartbeat law. I do believe in that, and I feel safe with our conservative mindship of our area, of how we are right now. And like I said, I feel like life begins at conception. I don't really have much to say on that, except I'm pro-life.
And is it the heartbeat? When is that? And do you see need for any exceptions? Rape, incest. Because those are in place right now.
I know. I feel like you need to have a choice in certain issues. Kind of like you've got bigger issues, and inside those bigger issues, there's little issues that come up. I feel like we need to look on case-by-case basis. And I feel like, yes, rape, incest, health of the mother, things like that. So.
Got 1 minute left. Get a website, email. How can people get in touch with you if they're battling? They've got these 4 candidates, and if only 1,500 people total have voted in this race, there's still about 200,000 more people that can go out and vote. So how can they get in touch with you?
My website is belforgeorgia.com, and they can reach me at Renae@belforgeorgia.com. My phone number's everywhere. It's on every real estate sign. I have an office phone number. My cell phone is 770-855-3622. That number's out there like crazy. So if you want to text me, you're welcome. I may not answer your phone call because usually I'm crazy busy, but I will answer your text. All
right, thank you. It's good to meet you.
Thank
you. And our final interview for this version of the initial version of the District 30 state Senate race. Possibility we'll have you back on maybe in a couple weeks if you're part of that runoff. If there is a runoff, you never know. But again, thank you for coming out. Good to meet you. And thank you for watching this morning's Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. Have a great weekend, everybody.